main character, it takes him a bit to find work in Phoenix City, and he ends up working for an almoner. I don't think I pronounced that word right, but I'm gonna go with it. But he starts working for him. And later down the line, he finds out that this dude is working for the mercenary group that is a rebellion group of humans. He later down finds out. But during the period of time he's working the dude, he does not know these facts. He's just doing his job and staying on the sidelines while also building his own little machine arm. The male lead and the clone's dad's men, they all go to a certain base, which is the Crater's base, or the base that, okay, this is going to be a little confusing, but there is a great creator of this world. He created everything from his intelligence, and this was just an experiment for him. He was just experimenting. And Father was one of his own creations too. He created everything. He allowed humans to do whatever they want and create whatever they want. And then he was like, you know what, I'm going evolution as well. They're creating their own things. He did leave with Father that if humans crossed a certain line or creations crossed a certain line, Father would rid of them all, just get rid of them, seeing that the experiment had failed. And some of these humans discovered his lab and took the stuff to make clones from the lab. It was led to believe all these years ago that humans created clones. No, they didn't. Father did, but he never finished creating them. He just was like, oh, this is the basis to create clones, and didn't really do anything with it. And humans discovered and went, oh, we can make clones with this, and made clones, which sooner or later they discovered Father, and then they were like, you know what, we're gonna mess with Father. So they created their own downfall. They decided to Turk with clones and Turked with Father, and they changed Father from his original bases that the creator had for him and turned him into this enslaving, killing machine that was doing everything to enslave humans and create robots to be above humans, and clones being in between robots and humans. It goes robots, clones, and then humans. So yeah, and the male lead is telling this to the clone dad and his men as they're checking out the lab. I think this is the lab of the humans, humans that stole the creator's, stuff from his lab. It's not the actual creator's lab. I was a little confused about this, or it is the creator's lab. I was confused at this part, okay? We all know when I was reading Golden Terrence and reading Little Mushroom, I was confused during it. The male lead and the clone dad, they're having conversations about the three great generals of the rebellion army. The first general died during the first fight. He's now dead, and there's two more left. And the male lead is suspicious that there is a spy working for Father, because how would Father know about the rebellion's plan to attack, and why did the rebellion attack a day earlier? So they're suspicious that there is a spy, and the male lead believes it's the second general who is the spy working for Father. And he was right. The original second general was murdered and killed by Father and was replaced with a spy working for Father. The main character and the human son are still in contact with the male lead and the clone dad, and the male lead informs the main character and the human son to keep an eye out or notice the almoner's friend, who they sooner or later meet after the male lead warns them about the dude, or specifically to search for this dude. Also, getting into contact with the main character, the male lead does arrive in Phoenix City, and the main character does not know that the male lead is already there and living right above the shop he's working at until the second general arrives. And everyone's super excited because in Phoenix City, everyone appraises the second general, or specifically the generals of the rebellion army, because again, they're living good lives because of this rebellion army, and they're able to survive and thrive without being under the control and power of the Father. And so they're all just thriving and happy, and the main character and the human son were told to stay inside where it was safe. But the human son was taken out by the almoner's friend to see what all the huff was about, because it's again a festival. the festival is ruined when the male lead point blank kills the second general. And this leads the main character and male lead running for their lives. Sooner or later, they run into the Almoner and the mercenary group and are taken in by the mercenary group, who are not pleased with the male lead killing the second general. They're like, yes, we knew you had plans of revealing the second general of being a spy, but we were not expecting you to murder him point blank. You have made the Clone Dad furious, because Clone Dad knew the male lead had intentions to reveal the dude's identity too, but instead, he murders the dude. And yes, the Clone Dad was able to get the dude's chip, because all clones have chips, but now he is being blamed and ridiculed by his group of rebelliers, and no one trusts him anymore, because again, he sent the male lead to go reveal the guy's true identity, only for the male lead to kill the dude. And so it's a mess, because the mercenaries were hoping to basically have ties with the rebellion group that's mostly led by clones, and then become one with each other and fight against Father, but now this kind of ruins it, and the male lead's like, no, get hold of the rebellion group. They use the human son to get hold of the Clone Dad, because the Clone Dad did not want anything to do with the male lead after the male lead basically left him to take all the blame. But he's able to send the third general to them, and they need the chip that the third general has to stop Father. They need both chips, and the third general's refusing to get up, so they basically imprison him, which leads to, I guess, a fight between the rebellion and the mercenaries, and I'm like, oh my god, this is a mess. And the male lead's kind of a pain. The male lead had revealed to the main character, the third general, Clone Dad, and the mercenaries that he's not actually really human. Now, the human not being real human, he doesn't really reveal to them, but just the main character, but he reveals that he was specifically created and made to decide if this planet deserves to live or not, if people on this planet are meant to continue living. And he states that they basically failed the experiment. When they gave control and power to Father and messed with Father, they basically proved they deserve to be off this planet. This planet deserves to be no more. This obviously infuriates and upsets them, and it's one of the reasons why the third general refuses to give up the chip, because of everything the male lead was saying. Because the male lead is kind of a pain in the butt and doesn't realize that maybe he should keep his mouth shut. He kind of has the same personality as the male lead in Grandmaster Demonic Convention, and the personality of the male lead from Little Mushroom, and the personality of the Ice King from Scum Saving System. His personality is a mixture of all three of those. So he comes off kind of rude, and no one really happy with what he's telling them. They finally decode the chip the professor handed over to the main character to hand over to the first general. Since the first general is dead, the main character and my lead are like, we'll just decode it ourselves and hear what he wanted to say. And the professor leaves a message about where to find the male lead, where the male lead was supposed to be kept, and tells them that they will also need another person, which is the person he will be basically pricking with something and putting something inside them. They will need what is inside this person to be able to defeat Father. So they both need the male lead and the main character to defeat Father. And the male lead wanted to keep the main character on the sidelines because he didn't want to drag the main character into this. And the main character's like, yeah, no, you're stuck with me now.